Northwest wild. Hunting, fishing is my kind of style. I float the Wagner when it gets hot. I'm proud of all the things that I've got. I'm digging in moss bags up in the sand, and after work a cold beer in my hand, picking wild berries off God's land, and drinking my buddy's homemade wine. Living Northwest wild. Hunting, fishing is my kind of style. I float the Wagner when it gets hot. I'm proud of all the things that I've got. I'm digging in moss bags up in the sand, and after work a cold beer in my hand, picking wild berries off God's land, and drinking my buddy's homemade wine. In the Northwest wild.
Hey, welcome back, or welcome to Fish Hunt Northwest. Welcome back. We're just getting started and getting my, what's busted from my co-host. So, little screw up on the intro.
Constructive feedback.
Yeah, no worries. Hey, welcome everybody. Thanks for tuning in. Here we are Thursday evening, 6 p.m. We are live in studio as we are every Thursday, so make sure you grab our info here, share it out to your friends, let them know that we are live starting at 6 p.m. And because you all have asked us to do so, we're going to continue to do that until the overwhelming majority wants us to go back to 7 p.m. So,
amen. But
I can tell you, I do like the 6 o'clock start. We're going to stick with that for a while. So, welcome one and all. We are here. We have a great show lined up. There is a lot going on, although you may think that we don't have much to do, but we're here to tell you there is plenty to do, there Tommy Donlan. So, yes. Speaking of which, Dwayne England, Tommy Donlan here in studio, and which is... we're going to get through June. Now, this is our last show of May already, believe it or not. We're going to roll through June. Things are going to look a little different. We're going to get to that. We got some scheduling changes coming about. We're trying to balance all this stuff because as we get opportunity to go do things, well, guess what? We also want to go do things, and it's always not conducive to be here Thursday night, right? So,
that's right.
But we'll figure it out. We'll get it figured out and make sure you all are aware of what is going on and when. So with that, I want to remind everybody, Fish Hunt Northwest is presented by Better Homes and Gardens Pacific Commons Real Estate, located in Puyallup, Washington, and of course our good friends out there at Defiance Marine, located in Bremerton, the manufacturers of the Defiance, the Arima, and Allied line series of boats. You have a 29-foot Guadalupe that you absolutely love.
Yes.
I'm looking at getting into that 21-foot Allied Mustang hardtop. The Raider is still for sale. It's a fishy boat. Things out there are parked on the lake right now, looking good as ever, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
It's a fishy little boat.
Is that a tuna boat or?
Is that a what?
Is that a tuna boat or?
Only if it's towed behind your boat.
Okay.
It'd be
You know what? We should load it with ice and tow it behind the Cornivorous.
It's a great idea.
And just dump tuna into it.
Yeah.
And that way we can hold more.
It's probably not worth anything other than that. Right. That's all it would. That's all the value
that's
is.
The selling point.
Yeah,
right.
Selling point is the tender. All right, moving on from that debacle. Hey, want to remind you guys, we are live every Thursday here on simulbroadcast Facebook and our YouTube channel. If you haven't done so, please go over to our YouTube channel, check it out, subscribe, so you're always notified when we have live content and new content that we release onto our YouTube channel with a lot of how-tos and more cooking recipes and all that we have going on here. So check that out. Be interactive with us on our Facebook page. Post your comments and your pictures and hit us up on Messenger. Ask us questions throughout the week and all the content that we cover, trying to make sure we help educate as well as entertain you folks week in and week out. There's so many things going on out there and you lose track. It's hard to stay up on it all, but we try to do the best we can to bring you factual information week in and week out. Yeah. Also check us out on our Instagram where we post a lot of content and pictures and whatnot. So all that going on, and moving on, as we take a look around Puget Sound and beyond, Tommy, there's some opportunity, and it's kind of been a rolling opening back up, so to speak. Kind of like the state's dragging their feet on a lot of this stuff, but we do have some opportunity in the realm of fishing. And if you've lost track of it, it's okay, because most people don't really know. So we're going to kind of run down that now and just remind everybody what we actually have opportunity on, right?
Absolutely. So here we go. We got marine areas 1 through 3 opened on the 26th. That was Tuesday for bottom fish. And our buddy JJ Dial and Ian Winder, they were out today. They were done by 11:30.
Yeah, I was going to say, it was before noon, right?
Yeah.
Lingcod and sea bass out of Westport.
That's right. Mm-hmm. Yep. And if you ever need to hail Ian Winder on the radio, strawberry shortcake. Well, that's his call sign.
Strawberry shortcake?
Yep.
Gets all the girls running.
I don't know where it came from, but that's his call sign. All Rivers and Saltwater Charters is who Ian runs for.
Right.
All right. So areas 1 through 3.
All right.
You know, and that's a sore spot for me because you know what? Area 4 should have opened. There's no reason that Area 4 should not be open right now. Not the land, not Nia Bay, not the reservation.
Sure, but the area to fish.
Yes. That area is totally accessible by CQ.
I mean, 100%.
CQ to Nia Bay, that's 14 nautical miles. I'd run it all day.
If you can put in at CQ, and you can fish out in front of CQ, why can you not run and go fish the waters off of Nia Bay?
Yep.
What is the harm with that? There's something else going on there.
There's got to be.
I don't understand.
I don't think there's any good reason for it. I think that, you know, I think that Nia Bay is concerned about missing out on a lot of the revenue, but you know what? You can't have your cake and eat it too. And there's no safety issues with being able to fish Marine Area 4 out of a different port.
No.
For Nia Bay itself.
Correct.
So, I've got a bone to pick on that one. Not happy about that. But areas 1 through 3 are open and they're kicking. Bottom fishing is doing well.
Right.
Halibut's still not open out of those areas. We're waiting for announcement there. Man, the halibut opener was awesome in areas 5 through 10.
Before we get there.
Yeah.
Why does it make sense to open areas 1 through 3 for everything except halibut and razor clams?
Right.
Now the razor clam I can see. If they're going to steer clear of that and say, look, we're closed for the rest of the season. We just don't want the masses coming in close proximity, and they would. People would come out in droves and they're close on the beaches. Again, we're so far into this now, a couple months in, folks are much more educated than we were week 1. Okay, we got that going for us. So, or it's the time of season. Okay, I get it. So let's we don't get clams, but not to have halibut open when those ports, those marinas, those access points are open for bottom fish and lingcod.
Right.
Soon to be open for salmon.
Yeah, I agree.
What's the holdup here? Why can't we go after our halibut quota?
I think there's still this stigma, or this concept that if you are fishing halibut and say Westport has an opener, everybody and their dog is going to flood to Westport, right? Mm-hmm. And then overload Westport. And so, until those local municipalities give the okay to open up, Westport for halibut, it's going to remain closed. But they should be looking at places like, Port Angeles and saying, well, how did it go for us? They had a lot of people.
They did.
I didn't hear of, any spikes in coronavirus. I didn't hear of any, anybody disrespecting anybody else or people not following the rules.
Some of the ramps were crowded.
Yep.
Some of the areas it was
which is expected, but that doesn't mean that that's a risk to incur the virus.
Correct. Right? If you have a good amount of folks showing up to, like John Wayne Marina, for example, it sounded like it was pretty busy. But you pull up and you're waiting in line. Guy in front of you launches his boat, you stay in your rig, or you get out, you do your hot lap around your boat, unstrap, get your motors ready, things ready to go, so that when it's time to splash, you're good to go.
Yep.
You pull in, back in, drop your boat, put it over to the dock, go park your truck, come back, get in your boat, pull away, go start doing all your pre-rig and everything right there, hovering around in the harbor, away from people. If that's kind of the MO, where's the downside?
Right.
Where's the people coming together too close, and how is this an issue?
And that's why we had this opener scheme where it was every other day. Right. Because they don't want people coming into town with their trailer, setting up shop, and then fishing multiple days, and then having to use all the utilities, locally.
Yeah.
They said every other day. There's no reason that we can't apply that same scheme to areas 1 through 4.
I agree.
So, anyway, not happy about that.
Right.
So I guess I'm going to have to go fishing somewhere else. But, okay, the next line item was, areas 5 through 10 halibut opener, and it was phenomenal.
Fished well.
Guys were doing really well.
Some decent-sized fish, too.
Really good-sized fish. We're going to have Mike Surdyk on later tonight.
Yep.
Him and his pops, Larry Surdyk, did awesome. Got a couple of fish before midday.
Yeah.
And they were headed back to port. So we'll talk to him about how that went for him. But a lot of people got into their fishing, some good-sized ones, too. Got some information from WDFW. As of May 26th, remember it opened on May 20th, we've consumed 9,000 pounds of the quota. That's approximately 11.7% out of the 77,500 pounds that we had. So still looking pretty good. I mean, we're going to get a lot of days out of that opener in areas 5 through 10. So that's some really good news.
At that rate, and keep in mind we're fishing every other day. Right. So at that rate, you're looking at least at a couple month season.
Yeah.
I mean,
I think we have a chance to go through June 30th.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
So that's really good news. Shrimping opened today in the San Juans.
Oh, yeah?
You know, and people were doing
28th.
really well. Yeah, the 28th. Today's the 28th.
Yep.
And I saw a lot of awesome reports out of Area 7 there. So shrimping is open there. And then on June 11th, of course, we get our Derby-style opener.
We do.
We're going to be out there.
We are.
And ready to drop at 7 a.m.
Speaking of which, we had time today, and we'll kind of get into what next week's show looks like. Both of us on the road on assignment. You are.
That's right.
You're doing some covert operation
That's
that
right.
you won't even tell me about. And I have yet to know where you're going, but that's fine.
Yep.
And of course, Shing and I will be on the road east side with our Kokanee roundup with the Max boys. And we'll talk a little bit more about that here later in the show. But because we're going to be on the road and because we're not going to be here in studio, we will be putting together a string of things that will, put together basically a pre-record show with a lot of insightful things. Some of it out there on the water or doing what we're doing for the next week. And one of the things we're going to show is properly mixing your shrimp bait, which you did a really nice job on that, by the way.
Oh, thank you.
Yep. Yeah. And then, of course, properly loading your shrimp pot, anchoring it when it's required. All the things, all the the highlights you pulled out of that. We'll show that next week in preparation for you folks who are kind of sitting on the fence, not sure if you want to take on this shrimping thing, or have done so and perhaps struggle a little bit because it's not a guarantee.
No.
It is not a guarantee. And it may be a little competitive based on location that you go and where you plan to deploy your pods in your 4-hour window, how to maximize your opportunity in that narrow time margin, right?
It will definitely be competitive in Area 10.
It will definitely be competitive, right?
Yeah.
So it will be to your advantage to tune in next week. We're going to roll that segment out as part of our items that we'll cover. Again, that'll be covered on the 4th. And then shrimping, like in Area 10 for us, so nice and close, opens on the 11th. So we'll do shrimping in that morning, and we'll be back in studio that evening on the 11th.
That's right. Mixing that shrimp bait with that tuna bloodline, and getting the smell of tuna on my hands,
kind of got you going.
It got me going, man. I am ready. I smelt that.
Got me going.
Like, bait stop. We're on a bait stop.
Got me all fired up.
I'm ready to go.
Yeah.
So and that warm water is creeping north. So we're gonna have to at some point in time take a look at the SSTs in here,
right,
and talk sea surface temperatures and chlorophyll charts.
Sure. Before we get there, though, we are definitely, a lot of people are anticipating the shrimp opener. Those that did take advantage of it today up in San Juan's on the 28th did well, and there is a ton of shrimp out there to go get. So I cannot wait for the 11th, right?
Amen.
So we got that to look forward to.
Puget Sound Link Cod is still open. Will be open into June. Guys are still getting them. It's still good.
Matt Messing got a couple more today.
That's right, he did.
Decent ones too.
That.
Yeah, absolutely. Yep.
And then we got a chance for Resident Coho June 1st.
Yes.
Another opportunity.
Yeah.
Tulalip Bubble opens up for Chinook May 29th.
Yeah.
So it's not a short list of opportunities. We're starting to see more and more. And then, the thing that I was happy to see is that, our charter friends on the coast with that Marine Area 1 through 3 opener and kind of the phase 2, if you will, which was kind of really, it was pretty ambiguous at the beginning as to when did phase 2 start for the charter boat fleet, what did it really mean, and what were the constraints. But they're allowed to take up to 8 people from different households.
Yeah.
And so, for the most part, they're running charters again.
Getting back to business as normal, right?
And so that's really good to see because I know those guys were dying not running charters.
So if you've been holding out and haven't booked your trip yet, time to get on the phone and make that booking because they're going to fill up quick, and we have a shorter season based on the delay in getting started. So our window of opportunity is narrowing, and salmon will be open soon in a lot of those areas. So we still have much more to look forward to. Rivers are open for steelhead. Was planning to go drop the drift boat in tomorrow and go drown some coon shrimp. I have changed our plans based on, talking to a handful of folks with local knowledge. I mean, water's already low. That doesn't concern me. You know, some of these rivers, they're at 500, great. I fish them clear down to 250. It doesn't matter. It's some run fishing, that's what it is. But the reports are very spotty. You know, I went into it thinking, because of our early closures on our winter fish, there would still be opportunity probably for a number of, you know, downriver fish still kind of hanging out, and maybe you encounter a few of them, play with them, let them go, whatever. Not even the case. Hardly any fish around in that regard. So, change plans. We're going to go chase some small coho tomorrow. Sounds like what's on the docket, which should be a lot of fun. Yeah, rivers are open for steelhead, trout fishing, or halibut bait procurement, as we like to call it, right? Oddly enough, as we're sitting here today, the halibut bait truck pulled in and dumped 5,000 of those little shiny critters for us to go after. So there is options, and kokanee fishing is happening, albeit it's kokanee fishing, and it is hit and miss. I can tell you that set a new PR today, Tommy. Caught the smallest kokanee of my life.
I saw that. That was impressive.
I meant to get that picture to Josh. It might be 4 inches. Here's the deal. 90 foot of water, 65 feet down. Yeah. And I grabbed a lure about... Yeah, it's okay. You're new. Yeah. Here we come. 90 feet of water, 65 feet down. Saw a school of kokanee, drug through. If you guys have followed kokanee discussions previously, you'll know that as far as how I like to run my gear in the boat, I go setbacks of 80 to 100 feet. It gives me adjustability with my presentation as you troll through a school. So I'll spot them. And I know, just based on my boat, troll speed of 1.1 to 1.4 on my 7-inch Garmin screen, when I first mark them, by the time they're getting off the screen, my gear set back at 100 feet is going through the school. You follow me?
Yeah.
So I spot that school at the front edge as we travel. I raise or lower to put it in the proximity that I want, where it's going to, have an opportunity going through that school. And typically, it results in something happening. So today was no different. Out there on the lake this morning, finally put in a little time. Saw that small school down at 65 feet. I'm like, gosh, man, those deep fish typically don't want to bite all the time, but what the heck. I'm fishing 3 rods. I drop one down to 62 feet. We go dragging on through. One of the rods kind of flickers a little. I kind of ignored it. Sherry's like, I think there's a fish on there. Went ahead and reeled it in. 4-inch kokanee. Oh, I kid you not. It was heartbreaking. But, kokanee fishing is what it is. These are all... What we're catching currently is the wild fish that are still sustaining out here in this lake, and it's good to see. But I'd sure like to see them get a little bigger, because last year it was 8 and 9 inch fish. So far today was 4 to 7 inch fish. So we got some work to do here in the backyard on Summit Lake. But other lakes are fishing pretty well. We are going to talk to Troy Black later on the show, Blacky's Guide Service over on the east side. He pulled that 6-pound kokanee out here a few weeks ago out of Roosevelt. And the reason I want to talk about Roosevelt is because for those of you that are joining us here next week over there at the Kokanee Roundup with FHN and Max, Troy may even come by and pay us a visit and talk to folks about kokanee fishing and whatnot. A little bit different drill over there. We're approaching first week of May. The fish are big, which is always a great sign when they're big in May as we roll into June, because June can just be lights out. Very rarely already on the downrigger, still using side planers, wide sets and deep setbacks, 150 feet. 150 feet, right? Surface troll, not in the downrigger, limits of kokanee. He's going to spin it all up for us and make you a believer, and you're going to get pretty excited.
He's going to make me a believer?
Yeah. You're going to realize that going over there for those kokanee is actually a kick in the pants, okay?
But when is this?
Yeah, you're on your covert operation. You don't get to go. But for those that are joining us, stay tuned, because yes, Troy's going to have some great insight, intel, even before we get over there, and we're going to even learn more once we get on the water. So looking forward to that. But yeah, everything you listed, we have opportunity on. Some are on steelhead. We have kokanee to go after. Rainbow, WDFW is still doing a great job at a number of lakes, still dumping in trout, still dumping in a few oversized, still putting in some triploids in some of your lakes. Check your stocking information via WDFW website, and you're going to find all the current trout stocks, trout plant information for 2020. Speaking of that, I just got an email today also to finalize this thing here, Tommy. Free fishing weekend is coming up. D-Day, as we call it.
Does that mean Area 4 is open? Sorry. I'm not over it, man. I'm still not over it.
Free fishing weekend, except Area 4. Yeah, all rules apply that you would be subjected to if you purchase a license. Same rules apply. Limits, fish that you may retain, fish that you must release, barbless hooks where required. All the same rules apply. The only difference is on June 6 and 7, you don't need a fishing license to fish. You need a retention card for those types of fish that you need to mark, salmon or steelhead or any fish that require a type of limit punch. But other than that, free fishing weekend, enticing people to get out and go try it, give it a go. And with everything we just listed of opportunity, both in the salt and the fresh and the lakes and the rivers and throughout the state, east and west side, weather's going to be pretty decent that following weekend. Free fishing weekend, June 6 and 7. So something to think about.
Target-rich environment.
Target-rich environment. You just got to, do a little research, figure out where you want to go. Follow us here on the show. We'll try to steer you in the right direction and tell you how and show you how, and not always to give you where.
The one thing that I wanted to point out that I was thinking about is that, one of the main reasons that people watch the show is because they want that, educational information. Tell me how to do things right. And so we have the how-tos.
Yeah.
But the nice thing about the how-tos is they always lead that next opportunity, right?
Yeah.
So it's like, if you're paying attention, you'll notice that we're going to do a halibut how-to when it's halibut season, right?
Yeah.
We've got a shrimp how-to queued up for shrimping season. So
correct.
It really makes a lot of sense to stay tuned in and make sure that you're not missing that educational piece of the show.
Last week, your how-to was fantastic. It was on rigging for halibut, different options. You talked about slider rigs, talked about different types of weights and spreader bars and different size of presentations, some buoyant, some neutral buoyant, how to add buoyancy. I mean, it was well-rounded, in-depth. It's been seen by several thousand people as of this, through this week. And we're giving it the 1-2 punch because now tonight I'm coming back with bait options. Right? So we take some of those rigs that you created, and now we're going to show you how to cure up bait options a little different than just the norm, than just hanging, octopus tentacle down there, or squid, or just a chunk or a strip of salmon fillet, or any of your normal bellies or anything. So we're going to go ahead and use trout and kokanee. I know blasphemous to think that we're using kokanee for bait, but when you catch 11-inch kokanee, you looked at that and said, man, that is a perfect size bait.
That's a perfect bait.
And it's shiny.
Yeah, purple label herring all day.
Yeah, right there, right? So, but there's a few things you can do. Add a little UV to them. May give you an advantage if we have those types of conditions that are conducive to allowing UV light to penetrate.
Right.
It's going to be reflective for you. Also, a few different tweaks on scent that you can add to it to make it that much more enticing. So we're adding a little color, we're adding scent, and we're adding durability. You're fishing 400, 600, 800 foot of water. You're putting bait down there. You're banging bottom. It's getting knocked around. You got fish pecking at it. If they're not always hooking up, but they're pecking at it, right? Yeah. You want a bait that's going to be there. Because especially if you're not using electric reels and you're 800 feet down.
To put it into perspective, we'll have drifts, like single drifts, where we will catch and release 20 fish in a drift.
Sure.
Right?
Yeah.
And so if a fish hits it and misses it, you want to make sure that the bait's still on. And a lot of times, we'll bring a fish up, and that trout will be hanging off the side of his face, or that herring will be hanging off the side of his face. And we'll put it right back on, and we'll stretchy thread it together, and we'll send it back down.
Yeah.
So
durable bait's important. Yes. Yeah. So we're gonna walk through that this evening on tonight's How-To in the Bait Lab. So make sure you stay tuned for that. And we do have, as we talked at the beginning of the show here, plenty of halibut opportunities to still take advantage of, and we want to send you guys out there with successful tips. Securing your bait to your rigging and make sure your bait is durable is a key factor to success. So. Other than that, we do have the Roosevelt Kokanee Roundup, and we will be there next Thursday. So we will not be in here. We will not be in studio. We will not have a live show. We will have a show of sorts. I'm going to put together a show on the road. But for those of you who have already committed, have made your reservations, thank you. Looking forward to meeting you, having you join us over there for 3 days of fishing and education and hanging out. We have some brand new Lamb of Glass Kokanee rods that will be given away. We have some WFO warm water series worms and grubs and different options for bass fishing and other warm water species that we're throwing those in there as well, because these are all about our sponsors supporting us to help you guys. So we have giveaways. Max Lures, pro staff will be there. They're the boys that will be talking, giving you the educational component on how to fish Roosevelt for kokanee and triploids and walleye, how to fish Banks Lake for walleye, and it's all about bringing folks together unofficially, Tommy.
Unofficially. Unorganized.
Unorganized. Total disarray and unorganized. There's going to be this stuff laying around that perhaps if you have a certain number on a coupon, you might be able to pick up for free, right? But it's going to be a good time. The room rates are ridiculous. If you choose to come over there and hang out with a few folks fishing, you're going to be at $75 or $85 a night for your Skydeck hotel. You're going to be at $30 a night for your camping site, RV hookups, the whole deal. It's going to be a really good time. The fishing has been pretty darn good. If you are passionate about kokanee fishing and have never came over to that east side to pursue some of those bigger fish over there, get ready, because you have the opportunity to catch the biggest kokanee of your life. If it's your first time over there, or if you've been over there multiple times, you may get your personal best just because of how well it's fishing. Now it's not a give me. And you do need to pay attention to what these guys are going to tell you. And Troy Black is on later again tonight, as we said earlier, and pay attention to what he's talking about. Because when people have it dialed in and they're pulling day in and day out limits of 2 to 5 pound kokanee, and they pull that 6 pound bonus fish that's 2 ounces off the state record, these are the people you want to pay attention to, right? So please, if you haven't made your reservations and you're kind of waiting, I don't know what you're waiting for. At this point, we got a week to go. You need to call on over there, make your reservations, join us for that opportunity to hang out, talk about fishing, go fishing, learn to fish, open your eyes to new fishing opportunities, both for kokanee and trout. And I'm excited about the walleye fishing too. Bottom walkers and slow death rigs and spin some night crawlers and get some walleye. And we talked before the show how good walleye is. If you've never eaten walleye, you're missing out in that regard as well.
And is it still a pretty lucrative limit over there?
Yes.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Credit to a lot of the guides that work that area over there. They've taken it upon themselves when they take groups out as 7 per angler.
There you go.
Because we've destroyed plenty of fisheries in our state already. They look at this as an offset to a lot of the frustration with the anadromous fisheries, and they have a great opportunity to catch fish and put people out on fish, and you go home with fillets of some really good tasting meat. We don't want to ruin it. We don't want to see it go away. We don't want to see it just disappear from mismanagement. So, kudos to the guides that are working collectively to put those self-imposed limits on themselves. Yeah, good stuff. So, if you got any questions about the Kokanee Roundup, hit us up on Messenger here on Facebook. Message me personally on Facebook, whatever you need to do, but we really want to see you folks over there. I think we're going to end up, there may be 50 or so folks walking around the campground that may have heard about some type of gathering, that may be there to learn a little bit about catching fish and having a good time. So, but hey, more the merrier. I think we still got some rooms over there. Going to again touch base with Nikki at Skydeck and Hal over there at the Cooley Playland Campground tomorrow, just to finalize some stuff, and I'll put some information out on our Facebook page and make sure everybody has the updated information. So you could be going, but you're going covert. So
special ops.
Special ops.
Yep.
Yeah.
Going black.
Yes, you are. As long as you come back. All right. So anyway, all right. It is about that time. We're going to jump out for a quick break. We come back. Really good friend of mine. I haven't talked to him yet as we've been up and running the show for a while. Finally got back in touch with Wags, as we like to call him, Brad Wagner, Barber Down Guide Service. He's over there on the east side, fishes all over the place. He's, homes out of Wenatchee there, fishes Lake Chelan a ton. You're aware that Lake Chelan has Chinook?
I am.
Yeah. That's a herring fishery.
That's a legit deal. Yeah.
That's a herring fishery in fresh water. Stuff like that gets pretty exciting. And so we have a number of different fish species that we can go for over there amongst the fisheries that Brad does. We're going to talk kokanee, we're going to talk cutthroat, some Chinook, some Mackinaw, some walleye fishing, and some other bodies of waters, and whatever else he has going on. Maybe even a carp or two. I guess we'll find out. Yeah. So don't go anywhere. Stick with us through the break. When we come back, we're going to have Brad Wagner, Bobber Down Guide Service, right here on FHN.
Marine is the one-stop shop for the Pacific Northwest angler. Whether you are looking for a small skiff to fish the Sound or rivers, or a huge offshore tuna machine, Defiance Marine has it. At Defiance Marine, be sure to power your boat with a Honda outboard package. Take advantage of the reliability and 5-year top-to-prop warranty on your Honda outboards. Our service department is always here to help and serve you as the customer. Did you know Defiance Marine has boat financing experts to help get you the best term rates on your new boat purchase? If you need financing for that new boat, call us today. We guarantee the best price, best service on a repower for your current boat. Defiance Marine is a Honda Premier dealership and one of the largest on the West Coast. Defiance Marine also carries all the gear that you will need. Everything from auxiliary kicker motors to fishing tackle and bait. Defiance Marine has certified technicians that are top-notch at their job. Some of the best in the Pacific Northwest at evaluating your boat issues and problems. Stop in today or give us a call for all your needs at Defiance Marine.
At Metal Supermarkets, we understand your need for fast access to a wide variety of metals, so we've made it easy. Our network of stores carries a wide variety of metal in all different types, shapes, sizes, and grades, with no required minimum order size. Who could ask for more? Simply tell us your dimensions online, on the phone, or in store, and we'll cut or process the metal to your desired size, often while you wait. We offer same-day service and can deliver the metal right to your door or job site. We even source hard-to-find metals, so no matter what you're looking for, Metal Supermarkets can provide it for you. And we're conveniently located with brick-and-mortar stores in Seattle and Portland, so you can check out our extensive stock for yourself. Superior customer service is guaranteed. Quality service from real people who know metal. We are the small quantity metal experts. To place an order, simply call a store to talk to one of our knowledgeable customer service representatives. Fill out a quote request online, order off of our e-commerce website, or visit one of our many locations and pick out the metal you want. Whether you're a small or large business, government, homeowner, or hobbyist, we make it easy for you to buy the exact metal and just the amount you need. We've been doing this for over 30 years, so we know how to get it done. Metal Supermarkets, the convenience stores for metal. Visit or call a Metal Supermarket store near you today.
It's easier than ever to browse homes and connect with an agent on the go with Better Homes and Gardens Real Estate's mobile app. With the app, your home search is synced across all of your devices, so you can pick up your home search anytime, anywhere. Take full advantage of an enriched, mobile-optimized map search experience. Use location services to quickly find homes near you that match your search criteria. Draw your own map boundaries to find homes in a specific area, and apply layers to view school districts, neighborhoods, zip codes, and more. The app's user-friendly design makes it easier than ever to find a home you'll love. Narrow down your search results, save your search criteria, and save your favorite homes. You can browse your saved homes in a list view that puts photos and key details like price and square footage right at your fingertips. Or check out your saved homes displayed on the map.
Hey, welcome back in studio to Wayne England. Tommy Donlan here, live, Fish on Northwest. Thanks for joining us. Got plenty of people chiming in here, Tommy, and I have not had time to answer a bunch of questions, so we're going to have to...
There's a few out there.
Yeah, we'll have to roll back through maybe on the next commercial break and see what folks are talking about. But and before we do that, next guest on the phone, long-time listener, first-time caller, Tommy, actually.
Really?
Yeah, oh yeah. Yeah, me and Wags go way back. Brad Wagner, Bobber Down Guide Service. Glad you finally took a little time to spend with us on Thursday evening there, Mr. Wags. How are you doing?
I keep waiting for the formal invite, and it's just, I mean, I'm lost in the mail. I can use whatever, Wayne.
Right. Well, sounds like you're doing good, man. Sounds like fishing over there has been pretty consistent, and you were out there on the water again today, chasing some kokanee and some Chinook. Let's talk about that. Let's talk about that Chinook fishery before we delve into this kokanee thing. We've been talking quite a bit of kokanee. I want to dial in this Chinook fishery. Is it? If I load the boat up and come on over there, finding Chinook and Chelan, is it a give me?
Oh, buddy, it's a tough fishery.
Yeah.
It really is. It is far from a gimme. It's it's far from a gimme. You can guide it because you have a kokanee fallback. But if your day is make or break on if you get a king or not, you're going to be a sad guy. Most days. I mean, it happens. I mean, we're actually getting them fairly dialed in and getting them fairly consistent, but it is a tough fishery. But they are the most beautiful kings I've ever seen. There's no predators for them. There's no whales. See, every king that comes up is perfect. Not a scale missing, chrome bright, absolutely gorgeous fish, and there's not a better eating fish anywhere. And I will put it up against springers, and I mean, I love springers. Everybody loves springers. These are an amazing eating fish. They're really, really good. But
so
they're not easy to capture.
What are they feeding on in the lake there?
Lots of mysis shrimp. Mysis shrimp and kokanee.
Okay.
They eat a lot of kokanee, so you can see them. You'll see them on your fish finder streaking through schools of kokanee sometimes. And for whatever reason, they're kind of hard to hit when they're streaking. But they are up there feeding. They're up there feeding suspended. So we'll catch them 50, 60 feet down in, say, 200 feet of water, or we'll catch them right on the deck, too. All the way down, 220, 230 of cable out in 210 feet of water.
That's crazy. So you're saying those little tiny baby kokanee that Dwayne caught this morning, those would have been perfect for these kings.
We could cut plug those suckers and run them behind a flasher.
Absolutely.
Sorry, I had to go there.
I would fish kokanee if you could for Chinook. Why not? I mean, you'd have to salt the crap out of them because they're such a soft fish. But but you're right, Brad. Those things cut as red as can be with all the mysis shrimp and, of course, the kokanee that they eat. And it's what's the water temperature over there right now? And is there a time where a certain springers are very reactionary to water temperature of guys that have their springer fisheries dialed on the Columbia or the tributaries? Specific temperatures are ideal for when they decide whether they're going to drag bait, drag spinners, get out the prawn spinners. A lot of that hinges on water temperature. Do those Chinook and Chelan, and again, we're marking service temperatures, and they're down upwards of 200 feet. But do you see an increase in activity when you see an increase in surface temperature? Or does it go the other way, or is there any change at all?
Not as much, because where we're getting these kings, the temperature doesn't really change.
Right.
The temperature from about 35 feet down on that lake doesn't change. It's the same.
Gotcha.
And so wherever we're catching these kings, the water temp's pretty well the same. You notice, they'll become more active when the water's getting warmer, but I think it's not because the water's getting warmer. It's just the kokanee are coming down because of the flow on the lake. So they're still on the lake right now. And so when they fill it and then they're dumping it, it'll suck all that food down, which brings all the kokanee down to the low basin, and the kings just follow them down.
Gotcha.
That's their food source. So they just follow them down. So I mean, it's the warmer the water temp, the more active they are, but it's not necessarily related to water temp. It's more related to
food source.
To lake level, food source, things like that.
Yeah. And those Chinook will go. There's countless numbers of small streams and whatnot, feeder creeks that dump into Lake Chelan. For crying out loud, it's 1,500 feet deep. I mean, it is a massive freshwater that rivals nothing in the state. And with all those creeks and small rivers and whatnot that dump in, those Chinook will go up there and spawn. Remind me, because I can't recall, is there any hatchery support on the Chinook program, or is it all naturally stimulated now?
Yeah, it's all naturally stimulated. They're a 100% wild fish.
Right.
And they used to be a pretty good hatchery program. They used to have net pins up, and they used to really supplement this Chinook program, which I would like to see again, especially with, we're having so many issues with with ocean conditions and things like this. We have a sustainable population in a lake that's very easy to control, and I would like to see a lot more fish dumped into it, or some fish dumped into it, start another program.
Yeah.
But as of right now, it's a complete wild system, and they'll spawn mostly in the Stehekin, but lots of the other creeks too.
Sure.
They'll come up, and they just once again they kind of following the Kokanee up, and they all spawn together.
Yeah. Well, you said it, so let's talk about it. Kokanee on that lake is something that many folks recognize as, a great opportunity to go find some success. Is this another year where there is a ton of them and therefore they're a little on the smaller side, or is it an average year with, average size fish, or are we going to see some really nice sized Kokanee come out of there this year? What's the cycle this year?
Yeah, there's a ton of them. Yeah. They're everywhere. There is a ton of Kokanee. I did a trip today, and like I say, we got 2 limits in about 2 hours, and we started at like 11:30.
Yeah,
and I mean it's good.
Yeah,
but, we got say 7-8 fish in the 13-inch class. The rest were 10 to 12.
Ugh.
And that's just where we're at. I'd like to see the limit on that lake go up to 20. It needs to extend out a little bit.
Sure.
It needs to, I would love to see 4 or 5 years ago when we had these 16, 18, 19-inch Kokanee that were common in that lake. Right. I mean, that's what we were getting.
Yep.
Stringers full of them. And, I'd love to see it get back to that. And just like all Kokanee lakes, I mean, it's very cyclical, and it'll, right now we're in a great population, which is a great situation for a lot of people. I took out a guy and a 7-year-old girl. Dude, she had the time of her life catching these fish.
I believe it.
For that, and it's perfect for that kind of fishery right now. It's not a trophy Kokanee fishery,
right?
But you can go out and bring the kids and absolutely have a blast.
Yeah, keep them busy, right? Yeah,
and just crushing fish.
Yeah,
they cut bright red. They're absolutely delicious. Yeah, it's a great fishery right now. It's been just a lot of fun, and it'll stay good through July.
For the newbie that wants to come over and splash the boat into Chelan, what steer them in the right direction so they can find success. They should start off in the morning, troll speed, depth, color. Throw them a few tips that's gonna land some Kokanee in their cooler.
Yeah. Right now, the Kokanee are down at the low basin, meaning they're pretty much right in town.
Yeah.
In town of Chelan. And I'm fishing fairly shallow, fishing even as shallow as 25, 30 feet of water, and sometimes they'll move up into 60, 70 feet of water, but really kind of staying out of the deeper water. And there is Kokanee up in the deeper water. When I'm fishing for kings, I'll have a Kokanee rod out, and we'll catch Kokanee up there, but the masses are down in the shallower water, and where it's getting warm and the plankton bloom is really starting to hit. And they're just stuffed down there, and you don't need downriggers. So I'm running maybe 2 downriggers and 2 droppers, just because droppers are fun. I'm running a 3-ounce weight with maybe 40 to 50 feet on my line counter.
Okay.
Trolling about one. And the speed does matter. I mean, with Kokanee, just like it does matter, and it's not always the same. But 1, 2, 1, 3 is a pretty good rule of thumb. Start there and adjust if needed from there. But that's a pretty good. That's a pretty good place to start.
Any particular color outperforming anything else?
The colors, typical Kokanee stuff, pinks and oranges. I'm running a lot of Slam and Sam's scents. The krill anise has really been good.
Yep.
I've been using his the corn cure just because it's really easy. You just dump it in and dump some scent in and go fish.
Sure.
It doesn't get any easier than that. And the corn color hasn't really mattered. It doesn't seem to matter to me really too much.
Sure.
But smaller presentations. Where guys I think are going wrong is they're getting too much stuff all up and down the line. Mm-hmm. They got big hoochies. I mean, one of my favorite rigs is like 3 little geez, what are they? I think they're like a 4 or 5 millimeter bead. I mean, they're pretty small.
Sure.
And smile blade.
Yeah.
I mean, just that's it. The smallest smile blade you can get with a little. I run a 2 size 6 hooks, small hooks, and I run a 12-inch leader on my hoochies, and I run an 18-inch leader on my spinners.
Gotcha.
And
gotcha.
And it's what I've been running for years up there, and it seems to work really well. Year in, year out.
Tight and small. Yep.
Yeah.
Stick with don't go crazy with all types of different scents. The anise krill seems to get it done, and not a big presentation. Got somebody asking what boat launches are open around Chelan, or is pretty much all of them open, or are they all open? They're all open. Okay.
Yep, everything's open. There still is construction they're doing at the Manson launch.
Okay.
But it is open. There's like, I want to say 3 ramps there, and I think last time I checked, I don't launch there, but last time I checked, I think there was 2 of the 3 were open.
Gotcha.
So, and the state park's open. You can't camp at the state park, but the launch is open.
Right.
It's open. The state park's open for day use. The city launch is where I'm launching right now, down right above the dam, right downtown by the high school. That's open. That's as far as I know, they're all open.
Okay.
I can't think of one that's closed.
Before we cut you loose, let's at least talk briefly about the Brewster opportunity for sockeye, and of course some great news coming out of Lake Wenatchee. Sounds like we got a very favorable opportunity, Lake Wenatchee, in the Brewster fishery. And I think I saw an email today from WDFW kind of lining out your sockeye opportunity on the Columbia River and which stretches will be open for sockeye retention to fish, if I read it right. What do you know about Brewster? And then go ahead and give us a rundown on Lake Wenatchee as well.
Preliminary numbers always scare me. You never know how it's going to pan out.
Right.
But a good forecast is better than a bad forecast. Right. I'd rather be excited than sad, obviously. So and they're calling for what was it, 350,000 fish, I think, to come up over Rock Island. So and roughly 40 to 49,000 for Lake Wenatchee, which is a very, very hard lake to guess. So I mean, take those numbers with a grain of salt until we start seeing some numbers coming over the dams. But that is their projection. They're talking about 3 fish a day for Lake Wenatchee and 3 fish a day for Brewster. They're talking about Brewster opening the 1st of July, which I hope so.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't book a hotel yet. And I hope it happens. I would love to see it happen, but it would definitely not shock me if it didn't open until the 15th. And you always, with Brewster, you always have to look at the Okanagan River and see how, even if it's open, if that river's 62 to 63 degrees, it doesn't matter. Those fish are going.
They're going.
You're gonna.
They won't hold up.
Traveling fish. No.
Right.
And so, and we do have we got high rivers right now. They're running.
Good point.
But on a typical year, we say this every year. It's river's so cold, it always pans out, and it always, the Okanagan gets warm, and Brewster's. It's Brewster. We go up there and kill a lot of fish.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I expect it to be the same. I expect it to be really good fishing. I expect a really good sockeye season. Mm-hmm. The way WDFW has been kind of doing our seasons is more of a wait and see approach, instead of, we used to get seasons and then hope the fish came, whereas now we kind of gotta have the fish before we get a season. So hopefully they give us a season in time and before the fish are gone. But I think they will. I think they really want this fishery open. I think they want to see it open, and I think it will be open. Yeah.
Yeah, well, again, things to look forward to. I mean, the early numbers, as you said, they're indicators. You kind of would hope that they come through, and if they do, in fact, then we got some great opportunity. Remind folks that Lake Wenatchee is a no-bait fishery. So,
definitely,
Yep. And if you catch bull trout, be sure to let those go. So,
and kings also.
Yes, and kings also. Yep.
Yeah, there is kings in there, and you want to make sure, don't take them out of the water. You can't get a picture. So if the kings get caught taken out of the water, that fishery will close down, and they did that 4 years ago when we were catching kings, and they closed that fishery down because too many kings were caught and taken out of the water, pictures taken, things like that. So it is something to be just be mindful of if you do catch a king. Just try to release it in the net and let it swim away.
Well, we covered a lot of ground here, Mr. Wagner, and you have a lot going on over there. Looking forward to the sockeye opportunity. If those do come through as we, find our way into July, we'll definitely get you back on the phone here and talk some tactics for successful sockeye fishing and Chinook up there in the Brewster Pool. And we also, we didn't even touch walleye, which I know is something else you're passionate about and is occupying your time as of late. So you got too much going on. We don't have enough time. So
right on, buddy.
We'll just have to have you back. Appreciate you taking time. If people want to book a trip with you, Brad, where can they find you?
509-670-3095 and www.fishwenatchee.com.
Perfect, buddy. All right, Barber Down Guide Service, Brad Wagner, always a pleasure. Don't be a stranger. We'll stay in touch.
Hey, thanks, man.
All right.
Take it easy.
There he is, Wags. Good dude.
Lots of opportunity out there, too.
Yeah. East side is nothing to not pay attention to. There's a lot going on over there, and as we roll into the summer months, we get into this June, July time frame over there. It's a constant battle of decisions. What do I go do, and what do I give up to go do? You know what I mean? So too many opportunities to take advantage of. So, all right, running just a skosh late, no big deal. We're gonna jump out for a quick break. We come back and get your buddy Mike Surdyk on the phone.
That's right.
We're gonna talk a little halibut fishing. We just covered all the bases on finding bait on the east side to bring it over to the west side, deploy it out in the ocean waters, and see if we can't find some of those bigger halibut. And like you said, him and his dad did very well on the open.
Very well. They found him.
They did find him.
They found him.
So we're going to help people find success in finding them as well. Our plan is to get out Saturday. Weather is now all of a sudden letting us know that, you guys probably are not going halibut fish on Saturday. But something to talk about.
We don't talk like that.
We don't talk like that about weather.
If it's blowing, we're going. I told you. If it's blowing, we're going.
Right. Got that. And so we'll jump out for a quick break. We get back or come back. We'll have Mike Surdyk on the phone talking about halibut and techniques and things that they did to find some success out there where they were pursuing halibut. So yeah, don't go anywhere. Stick through the break. We'll be back right here on FHN.
A Northwest favorite for almost 40 years, Arima boats are manufactured with pride right here in Bremerton, Washington. Arima Boats offers all of our boats with Honda outboard packages so that you can take full advantage of the reliability and 5-year top-to-prop warranty from your Honda outboard. With literally thousands of Arima boats on the water throughout the Pacific Northwest, Arima boats are a proven hull design that offers incredible fuel economy and all of the amenities that a serious angler is looking for. All Arima boats are built without any structural wood materials. That is why we back our boats with a lifetime warranty. All of our Arima boats are designed to maximize deck space while also providing ample seating. Contact us today at Arima Boats for all your boating needs and let us help you get out on the water.
Hey, welcome back in studio, Dwayne and Tommy Donlin, and halibut is on the mind of many, my friend.
Oh yeah,
including yours. So you got a little. I said halibut, and you started kind of frothing at the mouth.
I got some spots on my shirt. I'm not sure if that's from the shrimp bait or from me drilling.
I think it's both. Combination thereof. Hey, we got your buddy Mike Surdyk on the phone, Raymarine Northwest Regional Sales Rep. But one hell of a fisherman. If you follow him on Facebook, he's involved with a lot of stuff. He fishes Columbia River Buoy 10. He's out there on the halibut grounds. He goes after big lingcod. I mean, Mike is a fisherman. That's, you know, you and I talk about this too. Persons in industry that rep certain companies, there's a percentage of them out there that are salesmen.
Right.
Mike, he's a salesman, but I tell you what, he's a fisherman first.
Mike was born a fisherman.
Right.
And then found his passion with Raymarine, and it's a perfect match with electronics and fishing. So I couldn't say that, I got to give a couple intro points, Mike, before we bring you here.
Please do.
But you guys did excellent out there around Port Angeles this weekend for halibut. We're going to get into that. But one of the other things, I hope we get a couple minutes to talk to you and your dad have been going up to Rivers Inlet since basically you were in diapers, and you guys got that kingfishery up there just absolutely dialed in. And then just for the viewers, this is the first time Mike's been on the show. He's king at rigging bait, right? Rigging herring for big kings. So fishing the beach, rigging herring, that's his forte. He puts the magic in the mic. Welcome to the show, Mike Surdyk. How you doing?
Hey guys,
how did I know that was going to slip in there somehow?
You do go by Magic Mike occasionally, right?
Yeah, Magic Mike or Deep Magic is one of my handles.
Deep Magic, yeah. Do you know Strawberry Shortcake?
Yeah.
Yes, he does. So Mike, tell us. So you guys were off of Port Angeles, and you and your dad had quite a bit of success. Kind of walk us through the day.
Yeah, you know what? We launched out of Washington Park there in Anacortes, and made the boat ride out. And to be honest with you, we really just planned on going for a boat ride. Just to get out on the boat and get on the water. The tides weren't super conducive to halibut fishing on the banks, and we said, you know what, let's go for it. And so, we made our way out to Hind Bank Sunday morning about 6:30 and got out there with about 85 other boats, handful of boats that were anchored up. Some were drift fishing. We made our first drift, and we said today was the day to burn gas. We had the weather for it. It was just gorgeous out. So we made about 4 different drifts on Hind Bank there. And didn't see a whole lot. Didn't see any fish coming over the rail, and didn't hear any chatter over the radio. So we started making a move. We started working our way west. Heard a report from Middle Bank that there was a lot of dogfish being caught. So we thought, you know what, let's start heading west, and started working our way towards Partridge Bank, Eastern Bank, and actually Coyote Bank. And I think we made 9 different drops before we got into some really quality fish. Right there along the U.S.-Canadian border, I'm sure folks listening will probably know which bank I'm talking about, but since it's such a small area, I won't give away the farm too much.
Sure.
But we found a spot, and actually we're just looking at the charts. We've got the Raymarine Axiom Pro system on the boat, and we're running the Navionics Platinum chip, which I cannot stress enough. If you're a bottom fisherman and you want to start understanding the contour lines, looking for the shelves and the humps, and all those areas, we lift 2-pound cannonball sinkers and salmon bellies and pink and green hoochies. Yeah. And on the second drift, the rod blew up again, and this one felt like it might have some juice. And then we got one about 70 pounds coming over the rail.
Yeah, that was a nice fish.
One of the bigger ones I saw. Yeah. For all the folks putting stuff out there on social media. Definitely one of the bigger fish I saw of the weekend, Mike. Yeah,
no, it felt like a Nia Bay caliber fish. Yeah. I've seen a fish like that come over the rail for sure.
Yeah.
I think one of the things that I would credit you for is that it doesn't matter where the fish are, you're going to run to them. So you talked about burning fuel. I mean, there's no limit for you guys. You're going to go where you need to go.
Yeah, absolutely. We thought we might as well try a new spot, and we actually ended up, once we got our fish, we decided let's go inside the islands and go jig for lings. And we had 3 other buddy boats that were out there looking for fish, and And we gave them the coordinates and told them where we're at, and then they showed up and promptly filled the boat too. So.
Nice.
That's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
You run out to a spot like that, Mike. How many drifts you gonna make on a spot like that to give it its due justice before you pull up and head for another spot?
You know what? I think before I pull the plug and make a move, I'm probably going to do 2, maybe 3 drifts to make sure there's nobody home.
Yeah.
I think that's really giving it the. We gave it a try before we just made one drift and moved.
Right.
Were you seeing life on the sonar? Were you seeing bait on the bottom, or what were you seeing?
That was one of the things that when we were running, and this is something I try and instill in a lot of my customers and clients at boat shows is, a lot of people ask, do you mark fish or bait when I'm running, right? If you're doing 30 miles an hour at 200 feet of water with a high chirp 1 kilowatt transducer and sonar, what are you seeing? And there's a common misconception that you don't see that stuff. Well, we went over a big cloud of bait, and you see these vertical streaks on the sonar, right? Yeah, the sonar just gets a quick picture of it, and so we pulled up there and said, what was that? We spun around and stepped back up over that track, and it's just like there's a cloud of bait on the bottom. I couldn't figure out what kind of bait it was, but about a 50-foot layer of bait on the bottom, and that's where we caught our fish.
I think that's totally understated too. I mean, in our Raymarine equipment that we have on our boats, Mike, being able to run at speed, and I mean it goes the same for tuna too. There's a lot of days where the tuna aren't up on the surface. You're not seeing bird activity. The only way that you're going to get that live bait stop going is if you mark that fish on the sonar and then drop down to get that fish. I mean, it's the same thing running. If you're looking for new halibut spots, if you don't have, a good chart plotter, good sonar, good equipment, well connected, you're going to have a really slow go of it trying to mark bait, trying to figure out where those bumps and drop-offs and hard pan bottoms are. So you have to be efficient, and if you don't have good electronics, you're not going to be there.
Yeah, that's totally right. We're no longer fishing; we're hunting underwater, right?
That's right.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Hunting underwater.
So, hey, Mike, did you stay consistent with the squid presentation in the salmon bellies, or did you change up bait and rigging at all, or was it just it was working for you, so you didn't have to change or worry about it?
Yeah, we had one side with salmon bellies, and then the other side we had those great big horse herring choked up in a big Uchi setup. So we like to throw both setups out and see what's working. Once the salmon bellies started connecting, then we swapped them out and put both salmon bellies down, and that's what started producing for us.
Right.
Yeah.
So hey, we got a few minutes left. Talk to me about Rivers Inlet. What is it looking like this summer? Because I know you got a trip planned in August, right?
Yep. This is actually 20 years in a row for me for our crew hauling up to Rivers Inlet. It's a real special family trip we do, and we're watching every day the new press releases and media and discussions about them opening the borders up. And there's been a lot of fishing lodges that have decided they're not going to open their doors this year. Langara Island Resort to name one of them, and there's some lodges that are actually going to stay open, but only for Canadian residents they're taking bookings. And so we're optimistic that come the second week of August that things are going to improve and enable us to buy a non-resident license. So we're all kind of crossing our fingers and hoping things start improving here in that front. But yeah, that's a very unique fishery, and it gives me it makes me very humble when I come back to Washington and Oregon and places down here to fish, because it's such a delicate finesse fishery. If you like fishing black label cut plugs and a 3-hook leader setup, and fishing 30 feet of water off the beach, it's the greatest spot in the world.
What is the biggest king you've ever boated up there, Mike, out of 19 years?
I've seen 2 80-pound Chinooks over the rail in my years. Yep. My biggest is 69 pounds. I'm looking at it above my office right now.
That's awesome. Big bait, big fish. Nicely done.
Hey man, all I got to say is they better open up that border, because you and I are going to be needing to fish Renfro and Swifter Bank on the Canadian side if they don't open Area 4.
I'm optimistic that they'll open up you'll be able to buy a non-resident license and at least boat across to fish in Canada, without making land. Let the guys go fish and come back to Washington without actually stepping foot on Canada. I'm hoping that soon here. with the Camper Creek fishery that it's been the last couple of years, I really hope to get back out there and fish the beach.
Yeah, for good reason. Well, hey, appreciate the time in this evening here, Mike. Good. Well, great information. And, hey, don't be a stranger to the studio, both via the phone and or just try to get you down here at one point. It'd be really cool for you to bring in some of your electronic displays that you have and actually walk through some of the Raymarine, things that you can do with your electronics, teach people how to, we take a lot of pride in our ability to put things here on display in the how-tos and the granular information that people really want to get their heads wrapped around. Electronics is one that often folks can't really convey over the radio or over, just even just sitting here talking about it on the phone.
It's not the same.
It's not the same, but we have the ability here in studio to kind of bring you in and dial that stuff in and really educate people on, the finer points of some of that stuff you guys are doing, because it's really exciting in technology. So we'll try to see if we can't work that out. It'd be great to get you down here.
Yeah, absolutely. And Tommy, I wanted to give you a shout out. My sister and Jared had their baby 2 hours ago and wanted to say hi to all you guys. So proud uncle here.
Thank you. Please tell them congratulations.
Oh, that's
man.
great.
That's awesome.
How about that?
Yeah, you got it, guys. Well, thanks again for having me, guys.
Yeah, absolutely. Don't be a stranger. We'll talk soon. Have a great evening.
Yep, cheers.
All right. Yeah, great guy.
Dude,
lots
solid.
of knowledge, all right. And at the core of it, a fisherman. So that's, that's where it starts.
Absolutely.
Okay. We're going to continue with a little bit of halibut discussion, more so bait procurement and curement, right? Mm-hmm. Something that's got you kind of excited. We will jump out for a quick break. Don't go anywhere. Stick through the commercial. Pay attention to our sponsors because of them, we can bring you this show each and every week. We come back. We're going to be in the bait lab for this week's how-to. Going to show you how to brine up and cure up some trout and, yes, believe it or not, kokanee, Shane Van der Linde, and using them for bait, catch, small fish, catch bigger fish, and that's exactly what we're going to do here on FHM. So, don't go anywhere. Stick with us. Come back. We're going to be in the bait lab. We'll be curing up some trout and kokanee for halibut right after this commercial break right here on FHM. Defiance boats are built without any structural wood materials. That is why we back our boats with a lifetime warranty. All of our Defiance boats come standard with large fish boxes that are fully insulated so that you can ice your fish properly all day. Defiance boats feature a 21 to 22 degree dead rise at the transom and a large reverse chine for incredible handling and stability offshore. Defiance boats are foam flotation filled and unsinkable for the ultimate in safety while fishing offshore. Defiance boats feature fuel-efficient hull designs with large fuel tank capacity so that you can have maximum fuel range for making long offshore runs completely safe and affordable. All Defiance boats come standard with self-bailing decks for improved safety while at sea. Defiance Boat offers all our boats with Honda outboard packages so that you can take full advantage of the reliability and 5-year top-to-prop warranty from your Honda outboard. Defiance Boats for all your boating needs, and let us help you get out on the water. Hey, welcome back to FHN. We are obviously here in the Bait Lab. Everything we do here in the Bait Lab brought to you, presented by Max Lure. Check out everything Max Lure has to offer at maxlure.com. A lot of what we're doing here you won't find at Max Lure because it's more specific to curing bait for halibut. We're talking going after big fish, and to get there, we have to start small. How small? Well, all depends on how big a bait you're willing to fish. And as you just heard Mike discuss, purple or black label herring, salmon bellies, we're talking big strips of bait, big chunks of bait with a lot of scent, a lot of color, a lot of things to entice halibut to feed. And it's no different when you decide to use things a little bit out of the norm. For a lot of folks, if you're able to come by smaller kokanee and or planter rainbow trout, they make excellent baits for both halibut and lingcod. Do yourself a favor, pay attention to what we're going to talk about here, and you're going to find success in both regards. So first, let's talk about these smaller kokanee. Okay, and Pautzke's bait company makes a fantastic product called halibut and rockfish nectar. Now, of course, I ran out and I didn't get any in on time, but it's essentially your red nectar. It's slightly different than your standard egg red nectar that comes from Pautzke's, and that they put some additional bite stimulants and extra krill and stuff in the halibut rockfish nectar, but essentially looks the same with a different label. So look for the halibut rockfish nectar, okay? Basically, it's really simple. One thing to understand about this is 100% egg juice with, again, on the halibut rockfish nectar, same stuff, but more krill and more bite stimulants that are conducive to those deep water fish. It doesn't necessarily cure your bait, and when we talk about curing, it doesn't firm it up or make it to where it's more durable. If you paid attention earlier, Tommy and I were talking about fishing durable baits when you're going down deep, banging off the bottom, doing long drifts, and you want to make sure you have a bait that's going to be durable. Simply by putting your kokanee or trout into the rockfish nectar, or a halibut rockfish nectar, it doesn't necessarily cure it up. So it's very simple to make a brine that's going to firm your baits up just a little more. Now, you can see these kokanee here. They have a little bit of color. They actually have a little bit more shine than this kokanee that is uncured. You can see how bright they are in the tub here. This is nothing more than 2 bottles of the nectar, a half cup of non-iodized sea salt, and about half a bottle of the fire brine. Okay, if I look at the fire brine here, now this actually does add some curing elements to your bait. It will help firm it up. But again, we're putting bait down deep, and I want to make sure they're durable. So I'm going to add into this small batch of 5 or 6 kokanee, I'm adding 2 bottles of the nectar, about a half, not even quite half a bottle of the fire brine, just to have a little more liquid in there. Plus it adds a little additional UV. The red does have a substantial amount of UV, and I put in a half cup of non-iodized sea salt for the firmness. And I will add a couple heaping tablespoons of the Pautzke's krill powder, because everything in the ocean responds to the smell of krill. It's very fishy smelling. You can't go wrong adding krill powder to your baits and your cures to add additional scent. One thing I do like to do is I take these small baits, and I'm simply going to take a sharp knife, and I'm going to put a couple cuts, not all the way through, just down to the backbone, and I'm going to put that on both sides, and about halfway through. So open up that flesh a little bit, and then right into the vat of fluid, and I will cure these up for upwards of 3 or 4 days prior to planning to fish them. We're making plans to get out Saturday. The weather may or may not allow us to get out, no big deal. Excuse me. I'm going to cure these up and let them firm up, let them get some color to them, let them get the UV properties to them. And if I don't fish them, I'm not worried about it. I'm going to take them out. I'm going to actually freeze them, vacuum pack them, and then put them back in the freezer, just so that I know that they'll be ready to go when we do get a weather window that allows us to get out on the water. I'm going to fish these in Puget Sound, Straits, Juan, Fuca, all the way out in the ocean. Doesn't matter. Same bait is going with me, no matter where we're chasing halibut or deep water lynx. Okay, so you have that option. So if you go out kokanee fishing, you get a bunch of under 12-inch kokanee that you don't really want to fillet out, and you're planning some halibut trips. Nothing wrong with just taking those and turning them into bait. You can cure them. You can let them absorb and get nice and firm and get the cure on them, so they have some color. That red is going to add a lot of UV to them. If we got and you can see how much red gets into the meat. It's really going to firm them up nice, and then again, if you don't go fish them, just simply vacuum pack them and freeze them. They're going to be good to go. So kokanee is a great option. Rainbow trout is also a great option. Here we got a nice size planter rainbow sitting here that we've already put onto a squid rig. That you'll just slide down that skirt, and it fishes right over the head of that trout. Kind of the same principle. We have a number of them here in this jar. You know, you can use some type of Tupperware container. You can use some type of whatever vat or container or bucket that you choose. This is a pretty simple mixture. I'm going to go with the dark green Pautzke's Fire Brine. I put one bottle of that in there, and I also put in a bottle of the Chartreuse Fire Brine because of the UV properties in the Chartreuse. Bar none, out of all the cures that Pautzke manufactures, when it comes to your Chartreuse, it has some of the strongest, most vibrant UV properties of any of the combinations. It even has more than the red. So I rely on it a lot when I really want to put things down in deeper water with a lot of UV, and if you have UV light penetrating down there, it's going to grab every element of UV that's penetrating through the water column and reflect off of that fish or that bait. So I will go ahead and put the green in to add color. That's how we get so much green onto these trout like that. And I'll also add a bottle of the Chartreuse, and then I also want to hit it with the mega amount of Chartreuse and UV capabilities with using the fire dye. Unbelievable amount of dye properties in UV within this small bottle. I'll squirt about a half a bottle of that into here, and it really gives these baits a lot of color and a lot of UV. You just can't go wrong by adding that. I'm also going to dump in a liquid bottle of the krill powder, or the liquid krill, or I can use the powder. Sometimes it's easier because it's all liquid base. You're just going to mix in a container, just dump the whole thing in there. Make sure you shake it up good, because this does get kind of thick in here, and the lighter fluid will separate and be floating on top, and the heavier properties will be sitting at the bottom, and you won't get it all out of there. So make sure you shake it up good, squeeze it all out so you get all that krill in here, and you can definitely smell it when you put a whole bottle in there. It adds a tremendous amount of krill properties as a scent additive. Also, I'm going to put in a half cup of the non-iodized sea salt and shake that up really well. And then this jar, for me, if you can find something like this, it works great, because you simply, again, let me set this over here real quick. I'm going to take these trout, and just like that kokanee, okay, I'm going to put a couple cuts across just to open up that meat a little bit. Gets the salt down into there, gets the color down into there, allows for those salt properties and whatnot to get in there. And I'm just going to take that and I'll move that back over here, stick that on down in there. Now, these trout that have been in here, have been in here less than 24 hours, and it took on that much color, okay? So again, I'm just going to cut a couple slashes on these. All these trout will work. This one's a little on the small side, but you know what? It'll still make a good bait. We're just going to put them in this jar. You know, I'm just going to leave them in that jar for 3 to 4 days till they get nice and firm, lots of color. And again, if we end up not going fishing, I'm just going to simply pull them out, vacuum pack, and put them in the freezer and save them till when we do fish. So let's talk about how to rig these. You've created a durable bait. It's got a real strong firmness to it. So I want to get down in here and get one of these ones that has some color to it. I can pull this out, and you can see the firmness on this tail as we move back and forth. It's getting nice and rigid. Here's a nice sized bait. It's got a lot of color, lots of green to it. It's firm. That thing is going to fish really good. It's pretty simple on how you rig these things, okay? So you have a rig here that is designed for about a 10-inch bait or so. The easiest thing to do is to take your top hook, and you're going to basically go on the underside of this head, and you're going to come right up through the middle and not get your finger, and you're going to pop that out basically right at the brain, okay? And now we want to give ourselves a little bit of flex in this, so I want to hinge this hook back, and I'm going to basically invert this the other way, and I'm going to come out here towards the top of the spine, about where the dorsal is at, and I'm going to pop that sucker in there, flip it around, and then come on out, and I like to bury that into the flesh, okay? And pop that in the top. Now I can hinge that forward and it's not gonna pull out. Now that is secure, but we can even do a little bit more, and that is where our magic thread comes in. And you basically are going to take your trout and you're going to multi-wrap like we did on this one here, and you're going to start at the head and you're going to wrap towards the tail, and you're going to get down to the tail and make sure you lock that side hook in really nice, get it nice and fixed in there tight so it's not coming off, and then you're going to wrap back towards the center of your bait. You're going to put in 3 or 4 half hitches and then just snap that thread off. Now, you don't have to do that, but I can tell you, if I'm taking the time to create a durable bait and I'm going to send it down in the depths of, 4, 5, 6, 800 feet, it's going to be bouncing along the bottom, and you have fish pecking at it or whatnot, trying to pull it off of there. If I just hang it on there and leave it on the hooks, it'll fish for a while. If I multi-wrap it with the magic thread, it's going to be a durable bait that's intact. It runs laterally along your 150-pound mono, and you've secured it by multi-wrapping it with your stretchy thread. So just one little extra bit of advice on how to secure that bait so that it will fish durable. Again, you're taking the time to create these baits for durability and color and scent and UV and all those properties. You want to make sure it's going to actually be on your hooks when you send it down to 800 feet to get after that 100-pound halibut. So give this cure technique a try if you haven't cured up kokanee or rainbow for your halibut fisheries or even your deep water lings. Something you must do. Not all kokanee and trout hit the table. Utilize them to bring something even bigger back to the freezer. All right, so with that, we're going to jump out for a quick break, and when we come back, Troy Black is going to join us via the phone. We're going to dissect this Roosevelt kokanee opportunity that we are taking full advantage of next week, so don't go anywhere. We'll be back right after this break.
Marine is the one-stop shop for the Pacific Northwest angler. Whether you are looking for a small skiff to fish the Sound or rivers or a huge offshore tuna machine, Defiance Marine has it. At Defiance Marine, be sure to power your boat with a Honda outboard package. Take advantage of the reliability and 5-year top-to-prop warranty on your Honda outboards. Our service department is always here to help and serve you as the customer. Did you know Defiance Marine has boat financing experts to help get you the best term rates on your new boat purchase? If you need financing for that new boat, call us today. We guarantee the best price, best service on a repower for your current boat. Defiance Marine is a Honda Premier dealership and one of the largest on the West Coast. Defiance Marine also carries all the gear that you will need. Everything from auxiliary kicker motors to fishing tackle and bait. Defiance Marine has certified technicians that are top-notch at their job. Some of the best in the Pacific Northwest at evaluating your boat issues and problems. Stop in today or give us a call for all your needs at Defiance Marine.
At Metal Supermarkets, we understand your need for fast access to a wide variety of metals, so we've made it easy. Our network of stores carries a wide variety of metal in all different types, shapes, sizes, and grades, with no required minimum order size. Who could ask for more? Simply tell us your dimensions online, on the phone, or in store, and we'll cut or process the metal to your desired size, often while you wait. We offer same-day service and can deliver the metal right to your door or job site. We even source hard-to-find metals, so no matter what you're looking for, Metal Supermarkets can provide it for you. And we're conveniently located with brick-and-mortar stores in Seattle and Portland, so you can check out our extensive stock for yourself. Superior customer service is guaranteed. Quality service from real people who know metal. We are the small quantity metal experts. To place an order, simply call a store to talk to one of our knowledgeable customer service representatives. Fill out a quote request online, order off of our e-commerce website, or visit one of our many locations and pick out the metal you want. Whether you're a small or large business, government, homeowner, or hobbyist, we make it easy for you to buy the exact metal and just the amount you need. We've been doing this for over 30 years, so we know how to get it done. Metal Supermarkets, the convenience stores for metal. Visit or call a Metal Supermarket store near you today.
What if there was a smarter way to search for your new home? Introducing the Better Homes and Gardens real estate website and mobile app. This revolutionary new search tool puts your needs first. Narrow your search to what matters most to your family, like school data, school districts, and even walk scores. Get easy access to your local affiliated agent, as well as unique and local insights about neighborhoods and properties directly within the app. With synced and saved preferences, you'll always pick up wherever you left off. Get your smarter search started today with Better Homes and Gardens Real Estate.
Okay.
Hey, welcome back in studio to Wayne England, Tommy Donlan, and okay, we're done talking halibut for tonight.
Oh,
You got it?
got it.
We've beat it up long enough.
Okay, I suppose.
Yeah, well,
I'll see if I can sneak it back into the discussion.
I'm sure you will at some point. We'll take a break from that because we want to get back to one of my passions of life, and that is in pursuit of kokanee, not the 4 inchers I was catching this morning.
Amen.
Yeah, but something a little more respectable. Troy Black, Blacky's Guide Service. I think second time you've joined us on the show here, isn't it, Troy?
Yeah, the second time.
Yeah, fantastic. Well,
Sorry, Wagner.
yeah.
Got him.
Yeah, you got him. Well, I appreciate you taking some time. I know you had kind of a busy evening, so I'm glad it worked out. But hey, let's talk about this Roosevelt opportunity, man. It's something that's become a passion of mine over the last few years. And, you know, being a West Sider, I only get over there a couple times a year, not nearly as dialed as you all that get to fish it day in and day out and have been doing it for years. And, you know, our conversation the other night there, you got me pretty excited in thinking that there's some great opportunity this year. Based on what you're seeing, would you say it's safe to say that we are seeing some bigger fish earlier on this season than we've seen in recent years?
Yes. Yep. These the fish we're catching now are as big as I've ever caught. I mean, I've fished this lake my whole life.
Yeah.
And this is as big early. We were catching fish that were pushing 4.5 pounds in November and December.
Gosh.
And for us, you know, generally speaking, I don't really think the kokanee fishing gets really good till February.
Yeah.
And, you know, we were catching them in November when fishing.
Yeah.
You know, triplets. So it was, it's been a really, really good year. And there are a ton of fish this year.
That's impressive to hear. Obviously, we've had conversation with other folks that are keeping tabs or keeping an eye on some of the predation increase issues that might be going on with Roosevelt. You know, that would lead you to believe that, hey, this kokanee survivability, excuse me, might be in trouble at some point, but doesn't seem to be the case this year, and there must be a pretty abundant food source if we're doing that good.
Yeah, the lake is clear full of shrimp. I mean, and I think that's why we get such huge growth rates in our triploids, and we get these great big old fat butterball kokanee in the lake. Earlier this year in February, I went out with the kokanee managers from the tribe, and we caught some kokanee and planted GPS tracking systems and those for research. And they were telling me that, which I never knew this, but there are 3 subspecies of kokanee in the lake, actually.
Oh, really?
And so there's the Coeur d'Alene Lake kokanee, and they come down through the Spokane River,
right?
And they're the smaller, you know, the 15 to 18 inch fish, 17 inch fish.
Okay.
Then you have the Canadian fish that come down through the main stem of the river, and they're the 17 to 20 inch fish, and they're the ones that look like a sockeye.
Yeah.
They're a lot more sleek. They got the big shoulders, but they're sleeker fish. Then you have the resident Lake Roosevelt fish that are the great big jumbos, the little heads, big fat bellies on them. And so even the 2 subspecies of fish are huge this year.
Yeah.
So it's really, really, really exciting.
So, you know, being on the west side here and the way we're chasing kokanee now, and I mean, for crying out loud, I caught a 4-inch kokanee today, down 60.
I would have put a hook right through that sucker and
put it back out there.
Hummer and got me. Yeah.
That being said, I got it at 65 feet and 90 foot of water.
Oh boy.
You're not going deeper than 10 or 15 feet over there if you're even going that deep, is what it sounds like.
No, yeah, right now the fish are right up on the deck. And however, today I fished today. We went 6 for 8. And 2 days ago when we fished, we got our limits. But 2 days ago, I caught a fish at 19 feet. Today, I caught a fish at 16 feet. Like I said, the water temp's at 60 degrees right now in the lower section of the lake. And so these fish, with the next 2 or 3 hot days we've got, these fish are gonna start going down a little deeper and a little deeper. They're gonna start, and the lake's coming up almost 2 feet a day.
Yeah, that's crazy.
By the time you guys get over next week, the lake, it's going to be totally a different show than it is right now. But those fish are going to eventually, they're going to start spreading back out and going into their staging areas, their summer staging areas for spawn. So I would, like for next week, I would definitely have your riggers. I'd have the planer boards out.
Right.
And you mark fish at 35, 40, 50 feet. Those are going to be kokanee. I'd go right after them.
Okay. All right. You had mentioned that the triploid fishing is not as easy as you would think it might be right now. You're actually having an easier time getting your kokanee limits, isn't that right?
That's right. Yep. Yeah. I kind of say, I tell people that November, December, January, first part of February, that's when you're going to go get your 30 to 50 fish days of triploids mixed in with some kokanee. You're going to have your doubles and triples and quads, and you're just going to be hooting and hollering and having a good time.
Yeah.
But as the spring progresses, and I think it toughens up too, because guys are getting a 5 fish limit for 4 months.
Sure.
On these fish.
Yeah.
And they're thinning them out. Although I did catch a 24-inch triploid today, a clipped fish.
Oh, you did?
So go figure.
There you go.
And he was right up on top as well.
Interesting.
So they just kind of thin out a little bit, and the kokanee fishing just gets better and better and better. Spring rolls along. Yeah.
While we're talking about fish species and numbers, let's for those, we've got a few folks asking, what are the limits? Is it a collective limit? Do you have? I think I pretty much know what it is, but for the majority of folks that are tuning in, let's kind of review what is retainable and what can you not keep over there as it refers to the triploids and your kokanee wild fish and hatchery.
Yeah. Okay. So there are no. The tribe planted a bunch of clipped kokanee in the lake several years ago.
Yeah. And
they didn't stay in the lake. They took off.
Okay.
So basically, they are unicorns. I caught 2 of them the year that they planted them, and they were 12, 14 inches.
Yep.
I have never caught one since.
Oh, interesting. Yeah.
So basically, it's a 5 fish limit. No more than 2 can be unclipped kokanee.
Gotcha.
You cannot. So, and you have to, for the trout, for the rainbows, you can only keep hatchery or clipped rainbows.
Correct.
So the unclipped red bands, you're to release those.
Yep.
And this is, I think, the 3rd year now. The 3rd or 4th year they've had that in place, that rule, and you're catching some 24, 25, even 26 inch unclipped rainbows now, and dang it, man, they fight like a steelhead.
Oh yeah,
they rip and line, and it's a hoot,
especially on that kokanee gear. Yeah.
Oh yeah, you get a little ninja rod, and it'll bend it right in half.
Yep. So it's a 5 fish limit. No more than 2 can be wild kokanee, and all rainbows retained, which you can keep 5, but that's your limit total. And then no kokanee, but they all have to be the hatchery rainbow, not the wild red band. So
right. And if you catch an unclipped kokanee, they've got some asterisk in the limit where you can keep up to 6 or something like that, but they're not there.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah, we don't even
That's the unicorn, sure. Well, let's talk a little technique before we get out of here. As we're targeting those kokanee, you already mentioned that they're shallow now. Planer boards definitely help you out. Let's talk about width of your presentation when you got those planer boards out there, and also how far back are your setbacks. We're fishing extremely clear water for the most part, and if they're not that shallow, those boats kind of push them away as you come over them. So how far setbacks are you going? How wide are we fishing?
Okay, so yeah, perfect. The kokanee are super spooky on the boat, and so when they're up in that the top 10 feet column, those fish, when you go through a school of them, your boat's going to scatter the fish. So I use the big boards. I don't use the inline or the sidewinders. I use my big boards, and I run it about 100, 120 feet out on both sides. So I'm covering a big swath of river.
Yeah.
And usually if I'm running 6 rods, I'll have 2 on the riggers right off the back, and then 2 on each of my boards.
Gotcha.
And if I run 8 rods, then I'll run 3 on each side.
Yeah.
And so I'm trying to keep, so I'm going to run anywhere from 100 to 125 feet off of my big board. So you're 100 feet out and 125 feet back.
Yeah.
So it's a long ways.
Yeah, no, it's a big spread. And when that comes off that planer board,
a lot of times you see the fish jump.
Right.
The fish is, hey, there's a silver out there jumping, and then the rod buckles over type of deal. But and so we'll wait. We'll either flatline them, or we'll try to weight our line with an 1/8 or a 1/4 of an ounce right now, just to get it down. In that top 2 or 3 feet of water.
Sure.
So the side winders, side planers do the same thing.
Yep.
With the riggers, I'm 125 to 150 feet back, and I'm no more than 4, 5, 6 feet deep.
Yeah.
On my down riggers. And today I marked a pot of fish at 20, 30 feet. I went after them, didn't get bit. But like I said, I kept one at 16 feet and it fired. So
yeah,
you start marking fish, just assume that those are kokanee.
Okay.
So I've got a question from a non-kokanee fisherman. I don't fish kokanee. So
Yet.
Because you haven't fished with me yet, partner.
That's right. Yeah, exactly.
I'll bring my 30 wides over.
There you go.
So we talked about the criticality of the shrimp. I'm kind of hung up on. I realize that the cycle of life, you got to have bait, right? You got to have feed. Does the state, or do we understand what makes like a good shrimp hatch, or what promotes the life of this shrimp that all of these kokanee are feeding on? Because what I heard from you early on, it was kind of surprising, is, hey, there's some good size fish and there's a lot of them, right? And so do we know what drives it? Is it runoff? Is it temperature? Like, why do we have so much bait in the water this year?
We have a ton of bait in the lake all the time, year after year after year. I personally don't think we have an exorbitant amount of feed in the lake this year. I think our kokanee population is cyclical. It goes up and it goes down. A couple years ago, 3 years ago, whatever it was, we experienced a year like this where there was just a bunch of big fat fish. We caught a lot of big fish. That time, I had a 513 and a 515 that year. And then, so it's just a cyclical deal right now. So, and that's why we spent a couple days with the kokanee managers, with the tribe, trying to do a little research and try to figure out a little bit on their end.
Yeah.
What's driving these fish. Yeah.
Before we get done talking about this, how about lure? Size of presentation. Are we talking a smaller presentation, bigger hoochies? I think your picture of your 6-pounder had a good size orange hoochie in it. I know orange has worked over there for me quite well in the past, along with pink. So, preference of choice of, on any given day, Do you have a same approach that you start with? And Dodger, color, size, UV. Give me a scent combination that is kind of a go-to.
Yeah. Okay. So real quick, when the water temp is fairly cold, I find that I catch a lot of them on wedding rings, hornet spinners, assassin type spinners, a lot of plankton squids, the little 4.25 Dodgers. Now as the water temperature is getting warmer, the fish are a lot more aggressive, and I'm running the big Dodgers, the 5.0 Dodgers. I'm running the mini squids, super squids, with smiley blades, or a little Colorado blade in front for some thump. And the pinks, the oranges, for the rainbows, the triploids, you think chartreuse, but pinks, oranges, purples, those colors. And then I'm tipping it with 2 pieces of corn on each hook. Mm-hmm. So I'm going away from the smaller finesse type presentations. I'm going to bigger profile, a bigger bait.
Yeah.
And because these fish are 19 to 24 inches.
Right.
I mean, they're big. I mean, they have no problem swallowing a little mini hoochie.
Yeah.
So, and then taking my corn, either a natural orange or pink dyed corn. I use just like Brad. I use Slam and Sam's corn cure because it's so brain dead easy.
Sure.
And then so last 2 days I used natural colored corn. My colored corn I couldn't get to fire, and they hit the natural color. So I bring all 3 colors.
Yeah.
And you just kind of work through the process to see what they want that day.
Right.
And so I'll leave I'll drain the juice off the corn, put it in the cure, let it sit overnight. Take the cure, drain the corn, and then lately, the last week or so, I've been running 2 tablespoons of Graybill's Kokanee scent,
mm-hmm.
and 2 tablespoons of Slam and Sam's shrimp.
Gotcha.
And then if I want to doctor it up or zip it up a little bit, I'm putting 2 tablespoons of Graybill's krill oil in it as well, and just a little clove oil.
Yeah.
You should, because that's awesome. I mean, I am a believer in that. If I'm walleye fishing, salmon, steelhead, wherever I'm at, that stuff, that's going to be on my bait.
Gotcha.
It's really good. And that's the corn that I use, 2 pieces on each hook. And real quick, I know I'm out of time, but today I noticed not very many people were catching fish, and they were trolling too fast.
Oh.
So make sure your speed, is 1.2 to 1.5, 1.4 is your sweet spot.
Sure.
And that's
where you're going to get bit.
Yes.
Yes. Yep.
And is that pretty consistent, Troy? I mean, are you kind of like the 1.3, 1.4 very consistently all day long, and you seem to get it done? Okay.
Yep. I start when I'm focusing on Kokanee, it's 1.3, 1.4.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm focusing on the triploids, it's 1.8 to 2.
Yeah.
But I'm not running Dodgers and hoochies either. I'm running flies and plugs and that kind of stuff. But 1.4 to 1.6, I'll catch both. But I catch more triploids at that 1.5, 1.6.
Yeah.
So I watched a guy pass me today, and if he's listening, I apologize for not saying something.
Yeah.
But, I mean, you could see he was going so fast that his Dodger was spinning.
Oh yeah.
He wasn't swimming.
Yeah.
Because he was trolling too fast.
He's fishing a rotator. Yeah.
He's wishing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. So
look like, well, and you know what? He might have been fishing a pro troll. I don't know.
Yeah, he might have. Yeah. Okay, 1.4. If we're going after triploids, we're 1.8 to 2, and got to get it done. And of course, remove your Dodger if you're going to be trolling that fast for them triploids. So, fantastic, really good information. Really appreciate you taking some time tonight. You going to be able to come over and see us there at the Sky Deck, or? Yeah,
I think so. I've got a sturgeon trip Saturday. I think I'm going to get. Yes, I think so. Friday, Saturday, I might have booked up, but I'm going to try to come on over and lie to each other around the campfire.
Yeah, that sounds like a plan.
At a safe distance, I guess.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, you keep your six feet, mister. So, anyway, all right. It'll be, great to
sure eat some garlic before I get over there.
Yeah, that'll keep the vampires away, too, so we're good. Right on. Well, appreciate you taking the time. Really good info tonight, and look forward to seeing you over there Friday or Saturday. It's going to be great.
Okay, sounds good, Mike.
All right, Troy. We'll see you. Bye.
Okay. All right, thanks, guys. Good night.
Later.
Lots of really good info there. The exciting thing is we get to go partake in that particular fishery, Tommy. And so when a guy like him that's got all those years of experience on that body of water can say this is hands down the largest fish he's ever seen this early in the season, I don't care what you fish for. If it's something you're passionate about and something that you do, and that's where you're at, that should be enough to get those interested in that fish to be excited.
So what time of year would those fish be at their peak size?
July-ish, August, I think, historically.
So breaking the state record, good possibility.
Yeah, very, very, very possible this year with the size of fish he's seen already. So, the other thing too is, I have fished over there in June and have given it a try in July, and it starts getting so darn hot. You're on the water early. Hopefully you get your fish and you get off before it gets above 100 degrees and you're out there just getting scorched.
Reminds me of Costa Rica.
Yeah.
Yeah. Win, fish and sailfish.
Oh, yeah.
World Championship tournament.
Right.
Yeah.
Always with the big fish.
Yeah.
Can't just keep it on the home front, man.
I heard the word side planer, and my mind immediately went to tuna.
I bet it did.
And I was thinking, planers for tuna. Wait, we're talking kokanee.
And then you saw kites and all kinds of crazy stuff.
And one of our viewers actually picked up on, I've actually improved my listing skills.
You?
Yeah, I got some feedback that
on your shrimp question.
I'm a really good co-host. I sit here and I'm silent and I'm patient and I listen to the discussion.
It sounds like Justine is messaging you. That is not a fan, but a spouse. Yeah, she's now.
She would not say that.
Look, she's realizing your recently unveiled skill set, and she's going to utilize that to her advantage. Absolutely. Yeah. She already knows I'm not a good listener, so it's not going to do her any good. All right, we're going to jump out for a quick break. We come back, going to close out the show with the recipe of the week: mango lemongrass Thai turkey. The reason I threw this in, and this is this recipe of the week repeat because it's timely. We have a few days left in our turkey season, and for those of you that have put a bird in the freezer or have one in the fridge trying to figure out what to do, take note of this. This is mostly, I believe Chef uses pretty much the thigh meat and leg meat out of your wild bird on this, and it makes for a fantastic recipe. Instead of not utilizing those parts of the bird, this is something that you can definitely do. So don't go anywhere. Stick with us through the break. Get your notepad out. Follow along on this mango lemongrass Thai turkey. We come back right here on FHN.
Allied boats are built by West Coast fishermen for West Coast fishermen. Deep V 21-degree dead rise at the transom guarantees a smooth ride no matter the conditions. Allied offers all of our boats with Honda outboard packages so that you can take full advantage of the reliability and 5-year top-to-prop warranty from your Honda outboard. Allied boats range from 19 to 32 foot in length, so no matter what type of heavy gauge boat you are looking for, we have it for you. All of our Corsair 21 foot and larger designs come standard with reverse chine that is welded inside and out with no extrusions below the waterline, so that you will never have to worry about corrosion problems down the road. Get out on the water today in a boat that you can trust and enjoy with Allied Boats. Contact us at Allied Boats today to learn much more about our incredible fishing machines.
everyone. Welcome back to Fish Hunt Northwest. We're here in the kitchen with Chef Kelly for the recipe of the week, and we're talking turkey.
We're talking turkey.
Cooking turkey.
Yes, turkey's in full swing now, and we got some turkey thighs. So
you like the thighs?
Yeah, I'm a thigh guy.
You are?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
It's got a lot more fat in it. It's got, people, go, oh, I kind of didn't really use it. You know what? Why? They're great.
Yeah.
But don't just use turkey thighs for this. You can use any of your fowl, your grouse, your pheasants, whatever you like. Just you can substitute out anything you want.
All right.
Just not chicken.
Not chicken.
Yeah, it's chicken season is over with.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
So today we're making mango lemongrass Thai turkey. Okay.
Mango lemongrass Thai turkey.
Boom.
Yeah.
She got it.
Okay.
Okay, so turkey's all diced up. It's about 1-inch dice, so kind of good sized pieces. So we're going to start on that first. So we're going to get a little bit of oil.
Again, you always have to take the silver skin off there, right?
Yes, absolutely.
That's what makes it tough. And
Pan is smoking hot, and get her going.
All right, there we go. Moving around.
Okay,
so you didn't marinate that with anything?
No, nothing.
Okay.
Just kind of spread it out so it gets good sear all around.
Okay.
And of course, if it's too much, then you're going to have to do it in batches. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Because you don't want it to steam. We're trying to get a good sear. We're letting that go.
And you want it even.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. So we're going to work on two different things. So we're going to work on a bunch of our aromatics. Okay, so we have some diced Thai chilies here. These are Thai chilies. These are little tiny little guys. Be careful with them. They're super, super hot.
Firecrackers.
Firecrackers. These guys are angry. Okay, I'm only going to put...
They don't look angry.
No, they are.
Tiny. They're deceiving.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So how much do you think you put in there of these little guys?
That was like 2.
2?
So...
How many would you put in it for yourself?
4.
4.
I'm a chili head.
You said
it. Of course, there's, a shallot. That's what I just put in, guys. Make sure that they're kind of firm, mold. Sometimes, you go to the store, they're kind of not in the best shape.
Because they don't go through a lot of them?
Yes, exactly.
So you just kind of have to pick and choose.
Okay. That was about 4 garlic cloves. I like a lot of garlic. Let's double check on our thing. Look at that. We're getting nice, good color. Okay?
Yeah.
This is lemongrass. Now, this is your lemongrass. You'll find it in the store. And it's a long stalk like this long. And you're going to cut the bottom half off and then peel the outside layers and then just use the center part and dice it like really fine because, it's got a little chew to it, but just dice it up really fine and it'll be fine.
Okay.
So we're going to do about a full tablespoon lemongrass. Lemongrass is super aromatic.
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 Okay. Big words. Aromatic.
Okay. So,
technical term.
Check up on our turkey. Getting really good color. Look at all that.
Yeah.
Try to get all flipped over.
Smelling great.
Yes.
A lot of people are really iffy about using a wild turkey. And, we've done them for Thanksgiving before. This is a great way to use the meat that you have in your freezer.
Yeah, because, people go, oh yeah, let's do up that breast, and then they kind of forego the thigh, and they're like, then it kind of sits in the freezer for a while, and kind of goes away.
Yeah, because everybody's after that big ooh and ah when you put a whole turkey on the table.
Oh yeah.
Right? Mm-hmm. But you like to cook it separately.
Yeah, I actually break down my my turkey separately. I cook the breast separately from the thigh, and yeah.
Yeah.
So we're going to use a little bit of fish sauce.
Okay.
About 2 tablespoons.
And that gives it a salt?
Yeah, this gives
that adds the salt.
Yeah, this is our salt for it. You notice I'm not putting any salt in there. About equal amounts of sugar, so 2 tablespoons of sugar.
Okay.
Okay. A lot of black pepper. We can go ahead and add our aromatics. There you go. We're going to pick that.
Yep. Nice color.
Right. Lots of fresh ground pepper. Please don't use that pre-ground stuff. just get a pepper grinder and grind your own.
Yeah, I threw mine out.
Can't take you anywhere.
Well, I got tired of being shamed by it. Got me kosher salt and fresh ground pepper.
We're not using salt today.
Nope.
Nope. All right, we're almost getting there. We're kind of looking just for our shallots to start to get translucent, but we also don't want to get too much color on our garlic.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, I brown my garlic a little bit too much sometimes.
Yeah, and then it just starts getting bitter. So now we're going to add our sauce. Try and get all that sugar in there. There you go.
Thank you.
Good. We're almost there.
All right.
All right.
What you got now?
So it's got some mango. Yeah. So our mango, we're going to just add there at the very last second because we really don't want to cook it. I want to keep it raw.
Okay.
Okay. And we're just looking for this to kind of dry out. We're almost there. Well, let's try some rice.
Okay. Let's see here.
So we're using some short grain rice today, guys, and it's a lot easier to eat than long grain rice. Usually the long grain rice, if you're cooking it right now, it'd be kind of, floppy, and this kind of stays in kind of a clumpy, kind of easier to eat kind of thing. So
there you go. Wow. Yeah, that looks...
That's good. Then we're going to add our mango.
Colors are great.
Right. All right.
I'm going to enjoy this with some cauliflower rice, I believe.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. A little mango garnish on top there.
Look at that, how easy and just...
How fast did that go together?
Yeah,
I mean, it was like
10
literally...
minutes, right?
At most.
At most.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that is a very authentic Thai dish right there. Mango lemongrass Thai turkey.
Wow. Something different to do with your big game. Well, not quite big game.
Your big game birds.
Big game birds.
Yes.
And as we dig in, Chef, we're going to throw it back to the guys in the studio.
This guy. Yeah. How about that recipe, huh?
Yeah, that was a good one.
That's a good one to take to your turkey. So, all right. Any final thoughts? Any final words of wisdom, Tommy Donlan, before we bust out here for the week?
I'm looking at sea surface temperatures, the regional shot, and that warm water for tuna is getting closer.
Oh, so you like that?
Yeah, I like that. I'm going to run a different kind of planer for tuna.
Got you. Yes.
Yep. And it's off of Northern California right now.
Okay.
It's looking really good. So,
what have you taken another look at our Saturday forecast? Just you're a weather guy.
Yeah, I am. You're making me do this.
Well, I'm just asking.
Yeah. It's looking kind of iffy. I mean, it's 14 gusting to 20.
Okay.
And then get midday and it starts to get nautical.
Yeah.
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 So we'll see. Kind of want to wait till tomorrow and see how it ends up. But right now, they're saying it's going to grow to consistent 26 knots by 5 p.m., gusting to 39.
Oh, good times.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Rock and roll.
Yeah, good times. Yeah. We would not experience the day that Mike had out there.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. So, all right. Well, hey, I want to thank all our guests. Had 3 fantastic interviews this evening with some pretty stellar folks in the community out there getting it done, and a couple guides who are willing to come forth with their information and just put it out there for people to learn from. So we appreciate that. Looking forward to a handful of you folks that are going to join us over there at Roosevelt this next week. Going to have an absolutely amazing time. Weather's going to be fantastic. Fishing should be very good. And we've barely scratched on the whole walleye opportunity over there. We've been talking a lot about the Kokanee. So we got some walleye opportunity coming up over there. So folks, I'd introduce you to that if you've never done it before. Something else that you get to take away from that event. So going to do it for us here this week. Next week we're on the road. Try to put a show together from being on the road and see what we can fashion together for your Thursday night entertainment, if that's what you want to call it. And we'll be back in studio here in 2 weeks on the 11th after a morning of shrimping. Yes. So lots of information coming at you folks over the next couple of weeks for sure. A lot of it's going to be outdoor content that will be up. Everything we're doing, we're capturing on video and bringing it to you just so we can share our experiences with you, failures and successes, and we can all get better together or collectively. So with that, all right, we're going to call it a night. Thanks for tuning in. See you 2 weeks from tonight on Thursday, 6 p.m. Other than that, next Thursday, we'll be busy fishing. So we'll have some info for you on the interweb. Stay tuned. Stay in touch. We'll be relevant throughout the week on our social media pages. So make sure you stop by and say hello. Have a good night.